Hi guys! In today's video, we're going to be looking for hidden gems in the form of slime shops. Slime is a booming industry with names that everyone knows, but what about the names that people don't know? Today's mission is to scour the internet for some of these zero-sold slime shops and secret shop them and see if they're really as good as advertised. Please check the description because a few of these shops didn't have shipping to the UK, so I had to private message them and say I was buying for a friend. The first slime that really caught my eye from fingerheartslime was Blue Orangeade. I really loved the DIY aspect of it, but also how unique this slime was. The orange is made out of a crunchy bingsu slime with lots of beads in it, and then the base is just a really clear blue slime. The slime has a really creamy orange scent, and when it's mixed up, the colour turns into green, but the texture doesn't change all too much. It just feels like a clear slime with a few beads. It's not super crunchy. Peaches was a DIY slime with two coloured components on the top in an icy form, and then a really glossy base, and I was obsessed with the glossy base. A part of me wishes that I kept it separate, but I also loved the mixing process, so I'm glad I mixed it. But like you can see, the colours held up really well, even though it was shipped in transit, and I had a pink to orange gradient on the peach, and this smelled really good. It changed the texture very, very slightly just because the peach was made out of a snow component, so it did add a tiny bit of texture, but it was pretty much the same, just a bit butter-like at the end, but really, really fun. This next slime was so well thought out. First of all, the scent was amazing. It scented like a blackberry vanilla and it's so good. The base was a really dark navy clear colour, and then you top it with some glitters and then an icy float. And when these textures mix up, they actually make a really perfect jelly slime. It's literally the perfect amount that you need, but it's also such a fun process to mix in. I thought the colours contrast was so amazing. In the soup comes with two slime parts. So the first part is a really crispy part, and this actually doesn't have much slime in it at all, but because it's going to be mixed into the clear part and there's so much clear, it didn't matter because this ended up mixing to a really nice crispy slime. By the end result, it weirdly looked like it was made by a white glue slime, which doesn't typically happen when a clear blue is the base. But like you can see here, it was a really fun mixing process. It looked like an earth kind of style palette, and the scent was a blackberry lime scent. Candlelight was a really clever take on a jelly cube slime. Jelly cubes are fairly normal, but this one has a pink jelly cube, and not just that, but they're also cut out into cloud shapes. The base of this was so clear, it was just such a complementary colour scheme, and I really enjoyed mixing this up. This wasn't the thickest of their slimes, but definitely one that I really enjoyed. Like you can see, it's coated, it doesn't stick to your hands at all. Slime is so clear, but it's still scented, and it's scented like a cotton candy. For extras, they included borax, a sweet, and a slime care sheet. Quaintcandy is one of my new favourite shops, and their first slime that I tried was Sweetheart. This was such a decadent slime. Like you can see, it was a very thick base. It came with a layer of clay on the top that it just slightly floated up, and then the clay components were so detailed and so well thought out. These hearts were absolutely gorgeous, and it comes with a little clear piece that you put in the centre of it. And overall, just the assembling of this was so much fun, let alone the mixing. But everything was so well thought out. It was honestly one of the best slimes that I've seen for a long while. This had a very heavy icing scent, and I really enjoyed that. And like you can see, the clay stayed really, really soft. So overall, there is absolutely nothing bad I could say about this slime. I'm a huge fan of the shop. Harajuku Love was one of my favourite ones from this shop, and this comes with such strong scents in their slime. I really love that. I know it might not be to everyone's taste, but I really, really love strong scented slimes, and this one has a really strong candy scent. This is a really interesting texture as well, because it looks like a jelly and is a jelly, but it feels like a really thick slime with just the slightest bit of snow in there. But as you can see, the texture is a jelly, and it looks like it just doesn't feel like it. So this was definitely a really cool experience. It was really different. I think it's just Canadian, so it might be a different type of glue, but this was a really fun mixing process, and because the slime was really thick, the colours held up really well. Unfortunately, it did just turn to a brown colour, but that's really common when there's lots of colours present. The only way I would recommend changing this is maybe adding a bit more pink so it turns into a reddy pinky colour by the end. Mother of Pearl came as an extra slime, and this was a really gorgeous container to play with it in, because like you can see, you can dunk your fingers in a ton of times, and like you can see, it just kind of gives off different types of reflections of the different size colours and pearls. This didn't have a scent to me, but it was really nice to play with. It was really crunchy if you activated it slightly more, or it could just be silky smooth and have a gorgeous texture if you're playing with it like I did. For For extras, they gave a candy dispenser like their icons, some sweets, borax, and also a care sheet. I love Monsters Inc., so when I saw this slime from Ava Kitty Slimes, I knew I had to buy it. At first, it was a tiny bit sticky just because this couldn't be reactivated because of the colour slit, so I just popped it in the fridge, played with it a bit, and like you can see, this was an absolutely gorgeous slime. This had quite a lot of base, which was really good because it meant that none of the beads fell out, and this was scented like watermelon. This slime had a slight DIY aspect and then it came in a couple of parts. So you got to add the sponge into the slime as well as the butter base being just completely untouched, so you get to decorate it as much or as little as you want. I decided to add all the components in, and like you can see, it looks like honey trickled all over some honeycomb, and when you mix this in, it turns into a super yellow slime, which I wasn't anticipating at all, and it was really fun because I've never mixed these types of sponges into a white slime, and they just looked really good and crispy and gorgeous, and it had a really light honey scent, and it was just very fun and decadent to play with. Birthday Bear was an unexpected favourite because the bear came in a massive tub, so it meant that when this was more inflated and mixed in, you could play with it in the tub and you never had to worry about it overflowing basically, and it was so fun to just messily play around with it in that way. The clay came slightly dried out, but I expected it to be a lot more just because the container was so big and this was so small, but you could easily mix it in and it was really fun to do so. It meant that it just held the shape a lot more. It was a really cute bear and it was a really silky inflatable butter slime. I really enjoyed this, and it was kind of weird how different it was from the honeycomb one because this one was definitely more of like an airy one, whereas the other one was slightly more dense. For extras, they included a lollipop ring, a fidget toy, and also some activator spray. Dream Goes End the Sky is such a simple slime, but such a beautiful one. I have been waiting for this in the restock for so long. This was scented like green apple, which was so nice, but you can still see how clear it is. And overall, I just thought this was an amazing slime. I really liked the detailing. The styrofoam hearts were really fun. I haven't seen styrofoam in many slimes. I also loved the thickness of the rainbows in there, as well as the sparkles. Overall, this slime was just beautiful. I absolutely loved it. Hocus Pocus had a slightly wet butter base, but I didn't really mind too much because when I added in the glitters, I knew that this meant it wouldn't fall out. The glitters were also gorgeous. They were duochromed, kind of, so when you tilted them, it had a blue tint and then it had a pink tint. The scent is an even split between petals and a clean scent. Slumber Party is beautiful. It is easily the most painful slime I've ever played with. My hands are quite sensitive, so it could be that. The slime on top is absolutely flawless. Like you can see, it's so clear. And this is also scented very, very lightly like strawberry cake, which I think is a rogue choice, but really well fitting. The colours in this are beautiful. It had some little Firmo pieces that were quite thick as well. But yeah, this was just a bit too painful for me to play with. Extras, they gave me an activator spray and a lollipop. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will be back very soon. Bye!